Oh, things are getting interesting. Hey, it's Romania Black, and we're on episode 18 of Dungeon Meshi. Delicious in Dungeon. What? Since episode 11, this series has just been like just fire blazing after fire blazing. It's been so damn good. And it was like episodes 11, 12, and 13, moi. 14, moi. 15, moi. 16 and 17, moi. And so it's like, there are no bad words to say of this series. It's that good, y'all. It's that good. So I do have some comments I want to talk about episodes 15 and 16 from Patreon YouTube before we dive into this episode and see what we get, to see if we're cooking, to see what we're going to be cooking. I'm pretty excited about it. But I do have a couple episodes for a couple comments from episode 15. Cy Palmer 7425 for episode 15 says, I love the ABO discussion about Senshi. I say discourse, but I can totally see the Omega vibe that you were talking about. Now I'm curious to know what every part member was assigned by the Discord, if there was a secondary gender assigned to the others. We really talked mostly about Senshi, but we talked about a couple others as well. Here's my take. And I'm not going to focus on every member we've met so far because there's a lot, and some of them we don't know as well yet. Senshi's an Omega. I'm here for it. I feel the half-foots are all betas. Chillchuck's a beta. Mick Bell's a beta. I feel like they don't want any part of this. They're like, no, thank you. They're like, we will not be a part of this. I don't get alpha or omega vibes from Chillchuck and Mick Bell, so they can be betas. That's it. Laios is an alpha. Of course he is. And with that, I'd say that Shuro is an alpha. Kabru's an omega. I'm sorry, he just is a power bottom 100%, but I'm just like, no, Kabru's an omega. He's a power bottom. We'll take it. If Laios is a service top, then Kabru is a power bottom for sure. But with that, the things that are most, I guess, Tade to me, Tade's the only other one I thought about. That girl, she could be a beta. She could be any of them, honestly. And then that leads me to Marcel and Falin. I don't know. Part of me is like Falin being the alpha, but then the other part of me, which I think would be funny because then like Shuro and Falin, they're not compatible because they're both alphas. But then that would make Marcella an omega, which I could kind of see. But then Marcella has moments where I'm like, is she be an alpha or is she a beta? I don't know. Marcel's the one that's the big question mark to me. I kind of like the idea of Falin and Laios being alpha siblings. I like that a lot. Marcel, I guess, is an omega, I guess. Kabru definitely is. I love that. But yeah, that's so much fun. The ABO universe is just fun to play around in because there are no rules. You can go all different routes with it. Anything goes. But I'm glad you asked that, Cy Palmer. Shizulander says the mangaka, this cracked me up so much. The mangaka drew a diary of Senshi for a magazine when the anime was airing, and in the diary, Senshi thought Chillchuck was a human child for a long time. He assumed he was Laios' younger brother or a child servant that needs to pay for his parents' debts. That cracked me up so much because I'm just sitting here like imagining Chillchuck, and since she's like, please sir, may you have some more? And Chillchuck's like, I'm not a kid. I love that so much. I love that. The episode 15, Chillchuck getting the sex talk from Senshi and screeching will live rent free in my mind as my favorite Chillchuck moment so far. I love that so much. Kiyonashi for episode 15 says, I really like how consistent Marcel is. She was talking about when dealing with healing, you must not get embarrassed. And when she got bit by the cockatrice and Laios asks her to drop her pants, she doesn't hesitate. Doesn't even question it. She just does it because in life or death scenarios, you must not hesitate when the healer asks you to do something. These next three comments are all interrelated with one another, and that's why I'm talking about them with you all before we start this. But I like that too. I like that Laios and Marcel are both so in tune with each other and they have such a good bond. They're like, nope, we gotta do this. But that comment there reminded me of like the idea of Marcel using the black magic. To Marcel, she's like, yeah, it's forbidden magic, but it got the job done. So she's like, if you're a healer, you can't be shameless about such things. You have to be willing. If you're going to heal people, you got to do it through any means necessary. And she's like, these were the means necessary, so I did it. And I appreciate that with Marcel. But then Bloink for episode 16, brought up a really good point that I hadn't quite talked about in the discussion. And I was like, oh. Bloink says with episode 16, I think it's funny that since we follow Laios and the gang for so long, we end up kind of forgetting that eating monsters is considered really taboo and disgusting by almost everyone else. The same goes with the dark magic stuff. It was sketchy already when Marcel revived Falin, but seeing the other characters' reactions to it really shows that Laios and the gang might be in much deeper waters than they realized. Yeah, because when we have the episode, we're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the dark magic stuff, whenever they were like, we're going to resurrect Falin with ancient dark magic, I was like, that sounds illegal. But the monster eating, I was like, oh, that doesn't seem like, I mean, it seems gross, but it doesn't seem like a big deal. And that's when Rare, in episode 16 on Patreon, points out, I think one of the hangups that people have on eating monsters is that if they really are summoned from some plane of infinity, then there must be something unnatural about that. The circle of life is really just conservation of mass, and monsters defy that, which is why goats are okay, but not monster flesh. And suddenly I was like, okay, wait a minute. We did use a monster from another dimension, aka the dragon, to bring back Falin, and it's caused her to become this chicken dragon, which granted, the dark elf has caused her body to transform this way, so there's probably more to it than just that. And then I got to thinking, our whole party has been eating unnatural monsters this entire time. Is that going to cause a problem later? I was like, is that going to come back to bite us? Should we have not been doing that? Is that, but now Kabru has ate some of the monsters, and so has everybody else. So I'm like, have we been causing, is this going to change their DNA? Is this going to cause issues later on? I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out this season or next season. But definitely some food for thought, literally, no pun intended, for this episode. So yeah, about that. I'm super excited to see what we get out of this episode. I'm very curious to see where it will lead. But with that being said, I'm very curious to know what's going to happen in episode 18. So I'm really glad that I got done with the cooking segments and got episode 17 finished right around the time that the comments were ready to read for this episode, because I was like, I can't wait. Episode 17 was insane. Insane. So I'm really excited to see what this episode brings us. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoy this reaction and discussion. I really appreciate the comments. They've been a lot of fun. But with that being said, we aren't going to waste any more time. We are going to dive right into episode 18 of Delicious in Dungeon, aka Dungeon Meshi. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And let's go. Netflix. Straight to the OP. You know what the opening of this reminds me of? It reminds me of Spy Family. I'm going to turn that down just a second for y'all. It reminds me of Spy Family. The Bump of Chicken OP. I think it was like the first core of season 1 is what it reminds me of. I've only seen season 1 of Spy Family, so I love whenever Marcel's happy, her little ears, they look like Yoda from Empire Strikes Back. They're so freaking cute. I love them. Oh, I'm also going to be cosplaying in an episode or two. It might be episode 20. I think it's going to be episode 20. It'll be either 19 or 20, but Elfreya on Patreon has commissioned me to cosplay as a character from Dungeon Meshi. So, bet you can't guess which one I'm going to be. I'm just waiting for one extra piece to come in. I don't know if it'll be this week. It may be next week when it comes in. So it may be episode 20 when I cosplay for it. But that's the goal. The goal is episode 20 to cosplay for that one. So just keep that on your radar. I'm excited. I'm not going to tell you what it is, though. I want it to be a surprise. Chilchuk looks really handsome with the open shirt, you know, and the rolled up sleeves. Super handsome. Very, very Victorian. Oof. Oh. Uh-oh. Ooh. Mm. Oh, we're going to the 6th floor. Like the Mines of Moria, but with a blizzard. Oh. Creepy. I like the waters become snow. Conspiracy lies and rumors. Ooh. But enough about that. Oh. Ooh. Oh, Chilchuck knows. Oh, this is as far as they got. Oh. Well, maybe. Yeah, uh-oh. Oh. Hey, I mean, oh. Oh. Maybe. Oh, I don't think he was bluffing. Oh, about that. Oh. Oh, was he? Uh-huh. Oh. He was a king. Oh, Marcel, know the lore. Oh. A millennium ago? A millennium ago? Oh, shit. Oh. What? Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, okay. We're going to track all this back. Oh. Well, the lunatic magician. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. They didn't. Oh. Oh no! Yeah, I didn't recognize him. Oh no. Uh-huh. Well, yes. Oh. Okay, so there's a limit. Only, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Oh. Oh. Well, in this series, I wouldn't take cannibalism out of the question. Or maybe is the elf eating the lives of others in the dungeon to prolong its own life? Maybe. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh, where's Marcel? Okay. I love all them holding hands like in the OP. Oh. Who has armor like that? Is it a Sebi? Could it be a Sebi? Because they went rogue and went astray? The armor looked like it was like a ninja or Kuroge glove. Oh. That was multiple lights. Oh shit. Where's everybody else? Oh! Uh-oh! Oh my god. Oh! They're doubles, but they're not all the same. Why is one the Colossal Titan? Oh no. Shapeshifters. Don't you know them? Oh, do they? Was Laios a shepherd? Oh my god, the one with the eyes going in opposite directions! Oh. The giant one. Oh, well, you know. I think it's pretty obvious to tell which one's the real one. Yeah, they're obvious. Oh, they read Laios' mind and it was too much for them. They just all collapsed. Oh my god. She's like, I hate you. The giant, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Senshi. Ah! Wow. Oh. Oh. Wow. His memory of us is too vague. Right, we don't want to do that. So they'll eventually just turn back into shapeshifters. True, that's a great point. Oh my god, so now we're down to... I mean, that one's the imposter, right? Oh my god. I mean, I think Senshis are pretty easy to tell. Oh no. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, what are we gonna do? How do you feel about Falin? Oh. Oh. We'll get rid of the fake one first. Okay. Oh. Yep. Yep, there we go. Okay. Okay, how do we narrow it down? Okay. Oh, I love it! Make him have a cook-off! The Great Dungeon Bake-Off! Yes! Oh, wow. Oh. Are we relying on Laios' observation skills? Well. Ah! I mean, I trust Laios when it comes to food. Good on ya. I mean, oh, the Marcel one's the hardest to tell. I mean, I feel like the Senshi one's obvious. I hate you. Oh, I love she gave him food. Oh. Interesting. Oh. Wow. I mean, I feel like the cinchy one with the white is the fake. Hmm. I feel like Chill Chuck with the white is... Oh. 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 Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh my God. Oh. Oh wait, didn't we say that Chill Chuck doesn't insult in the common language? Oh, but Marcel has grown since then. Ooh. Uh. Oh. Ooh. Uh-huh. Interesting. Oh, this makes it a little bit more difficult. Yeah, this is tough. Yeah, they do. I mean, that feels like the fake one. Oh. That one seems like the real Shuro. I mean, the real Cinchi. Yeah, why do they make this hard? Oh my God! Yes! He's always been like this! Oh my God! Oh shit! I love that they were just like, what are you talking about? Since she's always been hot. Oh my God. Laios like, I hate my life right now. Boop. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. Oh my God. There's so much food. Oh. Oh. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. Oh. 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 Interesting. Oh, wow. Oh, I love it. Oh, shit. Not Kensuke. Oh, I love this. What thing? What? He's a dog man. Of course Laios is a dog man. Ah! Oh my god. Ah! Oh, Laios, sweetheart. Oh, we got that one right. I got them right. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh! Oh! Oh my god, Laios! What? Oh! Oh, Marcel! Ah! Ah! Oh my god! It's like you were saying. Wow. Oh no. None of the dishes turned out. Wow. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh yeah. Yes, yes. Uh-huh. That's not how Chill Chick would have acted. Yes. Oh, good. I thought that the where he found him seemed weird. Oh. Oh. I hadn't even thought about that. Wow. Oh. Is he just holding it? He's just stroking it. Mmm. Oh. Oh my god. They were. Oh, what is this? Oh, cute. Oh no, they're gone. Oh. Is it a Sebi? Uh-huh. I love since she's collecting all the rice. Oh, don't go in there. That's a trap. Oh, shit. Yep, there we go. Oh, bitch. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. So is she a cat? Interesting. Huh. I saw that gloved hand reach for Marcel, and I was like, that looks like the Kuroge, like a Sebi. Okay. What a great episode! Laios, my dude! My sweetheart! My dog man! Oh! Laios is the dog to Kabru's cat. His little meow meow. Yeah, these elves. I don't get great vibes. I don't get great vibes at all. Interesting. With the blizzard, I thought we would get something into this scene here with Falin and the blizzard. I thought we would connect back to that, but it does not appear to be as such. Sad days. Sad days. Aww. Interesting. Bitch, you would. Bitch, you really would. Oh, I'm not exactly sure why Whiteboard Coon is here, but he might be needed. This series doesn't miss. It does not miss. It is so good. Episode to episode, week to week. And it's always good in different ways, which is something that I love about Dungeon Meshi, of Delicious in Dungeon. Some shows, you know what to expect out of the goodness. Like, it's good in a way you expect every week. Dungeon Meshi finds some ways to be good in different ways each week. And it focuses on a different thing. And I absolutely love it. Like, last week was a bloodbath, an actual bloodbath. It was so violent. And the thing about it is, Laios knows that they've got to destroy the shapeshifter because it is you are going to be hunted or the hunter. And Laios is like, we've got to destroy the shapeshifter. But Laios goes about it. What's so fascinating to me, and again, y'all are going to bear with me because of course I'm going to compare Laios and Kabru. Of course I'm going to do that. Why would I not? But the thing about it is, last episode, you had Kabru jumping on top of Falin and just stabbing her multiple times and just blood everywhere. And here, Laios was like, I'm going to get the shapeshifter to come out and we're going to take him down like a herd of hunting dogs in a swift and efficient motion. And then, of course, Marcel's just like, just takes the shotgun, like, I kind of like how Laios and Marcel worked as literally like a hunting duo. Laios was the hunting dog and Marcel was the hunter, like on the fox hunt, like, it was so perfect. But it was very minimal. It was not wasteful or gratuitous or excess. Kabru's just excess violence and gore and blood and guts. And Laios is like, we can kill, but in a very respectable manner. I love that difference. That difference adds layers. It does so much for these characters. Also, as I'm recording this, we've been talking about episode 17. It hasn't come out yet on Patreon yet, but Discord we've been talking about Falin. There is a giant, I know you all know about this, but there's a giant Falin as the chicken dragon. I'm going to call her KFC Falin. There's a giant KFC Falin figurine. It is massive. It's so huge. I don't have room for it right now, but when I do get room for it, do you spend the $250 and get it? No. I don't own any figurines. I have lots of acrylics that people have sent me through Patreon, which is super kind of them and super nice of people. But I don't have really any figurines. The only figurines I've ever looked at that I really thought I would be very tempted to buy would be, there's one of Vash from Trigun, because I love Trigun so much. There's one of Vash that's a really cool figurine. I think it's the one from Stampede that came out. That one's really cool. I like that one because I love Vash so much and what he represents in the series. There's also one of Levi from Attack on Titan where he's like on a throne. And Levi's one of my favorites in that series, so I kind of love it. I'm not gonna lie, the giant, and there's also one from Berserk of Zod that's pretty bitchin'. There's also one in Berserk of a scene that I can't talk about without spoiling. But comment down below if you would like me to tell you what I'm talking about, or get in the Discord and go to the Berserk Discord channel, and there's a picture of it there. It's amazing. That would be the Berserk one that I would get, but I cannot talk about it without being spoilery. But the KFC Falin, if I had room for it, I would be tempted. But I eventually want to get new bookshelves to put back on this back wall. I have ideas. I just don't have the funds or the time to do it yet. So eventually when I do what I want to do, I would definitely be tempted to get Chicken Fallon, but I don't want to spend $250 on a figurine. That's excessive. I don't need it that bad, but it's good to dream. Anyway, I had to go on my soapbox about figurines. Those are like the 5 figurines I would ever consider owning. The rest are fine. But anyway, so we start out this episode with them tracing the blood down. I'm amazed that Fallon's blood trail is not that excessive, considering the damage that was dealt to her. However, you've got the cleaners that are working against you. You also have the dark elf and their magic. So with the magic and dimensions, that's one thing about the world building. Now that we know what is capable in this world, it kind of opens up to all sorts of possibilities. So it's not unreasonable to think that this would be the case. My thing that I'm curious about is why the blizzard? Why the blizzard? It seems like it's tied to the ED a little bit, but we don't know about that yet. Why the blizzard when this is normally a super hot, humid floor of the dungeon? I also think it's curious, and we'll just put this up over here, that we're on the 6th level. And this is as far as we made it in episode 1. That's so crazy to me. We are back on the same floor we started at in episode 1. And Chilchuck's like, hey, we might as well go to as far as we made it before and see if there's any stuff left behind. The realistic part of me is like, I don't think there would be stuff left behind because the cleaners seem to work pretty fast. I mean, they got Falin and Marcel's circle all cleaned up rather quickly. And this has been months ago. But the other part of me is like, would the cleaners be as in a hurry to clean up that mess as opposed to they were trying to clean up the other mess pretty quickly? I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I personally don't think there's going to be anything left, but I mean, you never know till you go and you're already there. So I don't know if we're on episode 18 now and we have 24 episodes in this season. I feel like we're going to get past episode 6 and move beyond where this is one of those things where, you know, in the Emperor's New Groove where you start out and Cusco's poison. Cusco is in the puddle. And he's just like, oh, you may be wondering how I got here. And then you trace your way back. That's basically what we've done. We're tracing our way back to where we started. And then we're going to end the season, hopefully moving forward beyond that. Interesting. It would really suck if they got to the same place they started in and then they got sent to the top. That would suck. I would be very angry if that happens. And so I'm probably jinxing it to happen. There's going to be like one of the elves show up and grabs Marcel because Shuro's like wants her to get thrown in prison. Anyway, so the 6th floor is normally hot and humid, but there's a blizzard now. And I like that Chilchuck's like, oh no, I recognize this route. I recognize where our imminent demise took place at the hands of the Red Dragon. And there's the party and everybody passed out. Chilchuck's like, how could I forget? And that was right when Falin was getting eaten. The walls and paths shift around the dungeon, so it's not surprising the temperature changes too. I guess that is true. I guess that's the reason for it changing, is that the seasons just come and go on the floors to kind of keep everybody on their toes and to keep it to where you can't easily predict what's going to happen next. And yeah, better cold than hot because it preserves things, but it makes it difficult to track the blood. So they decide to go back. What I love is that when Laios is talking about, I hope Falin's okay, he's like, now that she's part dragon, she's part cold-blooded, so it'd be really rough for a red dragon. Laios is not, I just love that Laios is not concerned at all. Like Chilchuk has this look on his face like, the question should be, I guess you're comfortable with your sister being a chicken dragon, but you seem okay with it. So good for you for being accepting, brother. That's so funny that he's just like, I wonder if that's okay. Maybe that's why she has all the feathers so that she can protect herself from getting cold. And Chilchuk's like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about this. So then I thought that Laios was being very serious about going after the lunatic magician. I thought he was being serious. I thought that was like a big Laios moment of finding resolve and everything. And Chilchuk basically points out, okay, so you were bluffing and telling Shuro that. I did not imagine that. So the whole thing about the lunatic magician was basically a noble bluff to Shuro. Now, of course, Chilchuk says that like, you weren't seriously going after the magician, right? Because that would be suicidal, And the thing about it is, we'll get to whether that truly is or not here in a second, but that's what Laios told Shuro, but that's also kind of what Kabru heard as well. So if Laios ends up not going that route, Kabru's going to be like, but you said you're going after the magician. And Laios is like, oh, I just said that to throw my friend Shuro off so he'd feel better. I don't know. Kabru has a very kind of warped view of Laios from what we know about him. So if he finds out Laios lied to Shuro just to appease him, I don't know how that bodes. And Chilchuk's like, you're going to take down the lunatic magician, but you have something in mind, correct? And Laios is like, well, about that. I thought for a second Laios was going to say, I actually am going to take down the magician and save my sister. He says Falin was looking for someone named Delgal. And so Laios is smart. Laios may be neurodivergent. He may be narrow-minded, narrow-focused, but he's observant. He's not dumb. He knows things and he remembers things. It may be warped a little bit, but he remembers that Delgal is who Falin is seeking. And seeking under the elf's orders. Okay. So I'm glad they brought up Delgal. It just took us like 6 episodes to get there. And Laios knows that the Red Dragon was given that same order. So that's why the Red Dragon was sleeplessly roaming on a different floor, looking for Delgal, because that's apparently its job. And Chilchuk's like, well, who the hell is Delgal? And the name sounds familiar. And then Marcel, who knows the ancient lore. I love Chilchuk's face when he looks back at her. It's super cute. But she knows the lore. It says Delgal was the last king of the Golden City. So before shit went down and this became a dungeon, he was the son of the murdered king. And the murdered king is the one that the elf really liked. Right? And he was the last king of the Golden City. Which is presumably this place before it became a dungeon. So Marcel knows the lore. And she says that fell a millennia ago. Do you know how long a millennia is? That's 2,000 years. That's longer than I thought. I thought this dungeon was going to be around for like 300 years, 400 years, maybe 500 if we were like really getting crazy with it. No, this is like AD BC business. This is 2,000 years old. Like Y2K is happening right now in the dungeon. I did not think it was 2,000 years. I am floored, right? And so she says there are inscriptions praising him all over this dungeon. Gee willikers, mister! I'm sorry, but that prince right there looks exactly like he'd be related to Laios. I don't know. There are inscriptions praising him all over the dungeon. He has the same color hair as Falin. His face kind of looks like Laios, but with facial hair. But then it's kind of complicated because everybody on this island kind of looks a little inbred. So I'm like, I don't know if Laios and Falin are related to this man. But it seems really likely that they are. But then the lunatic magician, they don't seem to know that. How does this work? So yeah, all the coins praise him. There's like a bust of a lion with his name on it. And they're like, that's it. His name is on excavated stuff as well. And then Chilchuck's like, now wait a minute. Isn't Delgal? And Laios says, yes, when the dungeon was discovered. So, the last king of the Golden City, when the dungeon was discovered, which we don't know the timeline between when it happened and the city fell. We don't know the full timeline. It said he appeared on the surface, turned to dust, and disappeared. So, the king, Delgal, showed up on the surface, turned to dust. Here's the crazy thing. What if Delgal had been cursed by the lunatic magician to be forced to remain in that dungeon space. But then once he broke to the surface, because his soul was no longer inextricably tied to the dungeon, it vanished and he legit died and passed on. And the elf couldn't take that and then went crazy and just kept the dungeon going in the attempts to tie his soul to it and bring him back. I don't know. I'm just saying it could be a possibility. They've been commanding a red dragon and reconstructing the dungeon over and over again to find a king that vanished ages ago. And the lunatic magician saw the previous king get killed before his very eyes. So he's been afraid that Delgal, the king's son, would meet the same fate. But he did kind of meet the same fate. He's disappeared. He's gone. As far as we know. Seems kind of futile. And then that's when he's like, that's why he thought we were assassins and attacked us. And Chilchuck's like, now wait a minute. Who told you that? How do you know this? And then Laios is like, oh, by the way, I didn't mention this before because I didn't realize it was him. But when I traveled into those paintings, I kind of bumped into him in the living paintings, and he might think that we're assassins, that we killed the king. I just didn't put two and two together until just now. And then, of course, they all freak out and throw snowballs at him. He's like, well, I didn't recognize him at the time. So then Marcel's like, okay, so you relived the past through the paintings. And so my thing is, we know that Delgal's dad was murdered, and the elf must have been really protective about the son because he didn't want him to die as well. But then the question is, well, Delgal did die. He came to the surface and disappeared. So it seems like he did pass on, and can the elf just not accept that? And so he keeps on trying to recreate his soul and find it? Or do they think that his soul is trapped in the dungeon? They're trying to relocate it? I mean, he is a lunatic magician, so maybe he doesn't operate under reason, and he's just, not doing things correctly, and nobody's convinced him otherwise yet. So then Chilchuck says, okay, the magician's an elf. Can they live for 2,000 years? And Marcel says that most elves now only live up to 500 years. I love that Chilchuck says only 500 years because the half-foot's life is a lot shorter than that. So he's like, quit bragging about living for half 1,000 years. But Marcel brings up this concept about the elves. So it is good to know that Marcel is not 500 years old. She's definitely younger. But she brings up this good point about the elf and how they could be staying alive. So she says that if he can control the lives of others at will, it should be a piece of cake for him to prolong his own life. And Marcel's like, well, extending your own lifespan with your own magic would be like eating yourself to live longer. Look. So Marcel says that it is impossible to extend your life because that would be like eating yourself to remain alive longer. I don't think that the lunatic magician is a cannibal eating themselves. I could be wrong. It could be one of two things. It could be that the lunatic magician is eating themselves and is cannibalistic to extend their life. But what I really think is going on is that the lunatic magician is eating others in the dungeon to extend his life. Because as we have established, due to the dungeon magic, the idea is that your soul is trapped and cannot move on. Well, if your soul's trapped and can't move on, but what if your body is destroyed? Like whenever Kabru and the others threw the burglars into the water to be eaten by the monsters, they weren't going to get resurrected. Their bodies weren't going to be brought back. But what happens to the souls? Well, what if the lunatic magician is eating the souls of the fallen travelers and that's how it's extending their life? It's hocus pocus. He's a witch of Salem. He's a Sanderson sister, and he's eating the lives out of all the children in Salem to keep his life extended. That would also tie to the OP, if you recall, where there's all the little bright colored souls surrounding everybody, all the souls that everybody, like, it looks like a giant spirit bomb, as we talked about. What if instead of a spirit bomb, it's like a spirit Jaeger bomb, and the dark magician elf's just tipping it back and drinking everybody's souls to live longer? That seems concerning to me, and I don't know if that's the case or not, but this series has shown me that I cannot rule out cannibalism. I mean, we're eating monsters. We're becoming monsters. The whole dinner scene with Falin eating the dragon meat. And I was like, but you were resurrected from that dragon. At that point, I was like, yeah, we can't rule out cannibalism. I love Cinchi's face, too, to being like, we are not resorting to that, ma'am. So I was like, anyway, I was like, let's not talk about cannibalism anymore and what could possibly happen in this show. And says, well, in any case, the magician attacked us. So I like that Laios like, maybe we'll just clear up this misunderstanding by talking to the crazy magician. And I like Marcel's face like, were you around when we last battled him? I don't think that lunatic magician's going to talk to you. But Marcel nods her head like, sure, we can try it. It might work, as she has the hood pulled up over her head. Chilchuck and Cinchi look at each other like, yeah, we were around when we fought the magician. I don't think that he's here to negotiate. Anyway, so the blizzard gets stronger, and as it gets stronger, they decide to hold hands, and that's when the one hand grabbed Marcel's, and I was like, oh, that seems like it's a Sebi, which it seems to be a Sebi. And we'll find out more about them next episode, which I'm really excited about. My dog keeps wanting me to play with this toy. And I'm like, quit it. So yeah, I do love Chilchuck with the scarf wrapped over him. It's great. So they get to what seems like a safe spot, and it looks like a prison where there's all these different cells. And then we look over, and there are 4 of each of them. I love that Laios's are the easiest to detect. The giant one of him that looks like a colossal titan, and then like just the different versions of him. Absolutely hilarious. I would say, honestly, the hardest ones to tell were, I mean, the one Marcel was easy to tell, but the Chilchucks were the hardest ones just on first glance to look at. And then once we got down to like the 2 Marcels, I was like, ooh. The Cinchis and the Laioses to me were the easiest to detect. I mean, I love it that like, is this illusion magic? And Laios is like, yeah, they're shapeshifters. And he's like, they're monsters that pop up in my hometown from time to time. Which is curious that these have been in Laios' hometown. And I like the idea that Laios is a shepherd. It shows him with all of the sheep, which again, I don't know if it's supposed to be a metaphor because, you know, Laios, is he Dungeon Jesus? Is he the shepherd of the flocks of the dungeon people, ready to bring them all together along with the monsters that they're going to eat? I thought it was interesting. I love seeing whenever Laios talks about his hometown, but he also talks about the monsters as well. He's like, when trekking through the hills or fields in a thick fog or a blizzard, you wouldn't notice the shapeshifters, but they're pretending to be something until they can lure you in and basically blend in and kill you. And they're like, are they kind of fairy? He's like, well, if you don't catch on, they'll devour the original and take their place. He's so excited when he says that. He's like, well, they're going to eat us alive if we don't figure out which one's which. And they're like, oh my God, Laios, we have to sniff out the imposters now. The imposter Laios are so hilarious. The one with the eyes going in opposite directions, I can't. And then there's the giant buff one. And then there's the really meek Laios. Like, oh, the little meek Laios kind of looks like Falin with their eyes, which is so cute. But the one that's like, I must eat. What a pickle. And then Chilchuck's like, why are those Laioses over there really easy to detect? And it's because it's from Laios' memory. It's like they're obvious imposters. And so then they're like, they don't seem to know much about. I like that Marcel couldn't tell immediately from their looks that they were. Or maybe she didn't focus on the looks. She's like, oh, they just don't know about monsters. They say shapeshifters can read the minds of creatures and mimic the looks of those they're close to. So this shapeshifter mimicked the 3 versions of me over there are how I appear in your memories. So that begs the question of how do each of them see Laios? Because I have questions. So we have the three fake Laioses, right? So we have the 3 fake Laioses. We have the dumb Laios, we have the giant Laios, and we have the pure Laios. I'm like, which one is which? I feel like Sinchi looks at Laios as the giant Laios. I feel like that's Sinchi's vision. The innocent Laios, I feel, is Marcel's version of him. The dumb Laios, I feel, is Chilchuck's. Chilchuck just being like, oh, damn it. So that's how I feel their versions are. But then there's the 3 Sinchis. Okay. There is, there's Jojo Buff Sinchi. Then there is the one that is, the helmet is fixed Sinchi. And then there's another Sinchi that is, I guess, derpier. We need to get closer to that one. Then there are the 3 Chilchucks, which the 3 Chilchucks were pretty hard to distinguish. They seemed, we're just going to put 1, 2, and 3 here. Then there are the 3 Marcels. Now the question is, who had Squidward Marcel? There's Squidward, Marcel, and then we'll have the other ones there too. I was like, oh, so we'll get into this. They all look a little different. There's one is a blushy Chilchuck. The real one is the angry Chilchuck. They all look a little bit different. Okay. And then there is, yeah, the start dealing with that one. I feel the ugly Marcel, the Squidward Marcel is Chilchuck. I feel like that's Chilchuck's. I feel Chilchuck has the worst versions of everybody. But here's the thing. Did Chilchuck have the handsome Sinchi? Okay. So yeah, they're like, oh, you've got it all wrong. Take a closer look. Okay. And they're like, whose memory is that? And so these are other 2 that are clearly imposters. So Chilchuck, they're like, well, how come? And they say, well, look closely. My scarf isn't a muffler. And Sinchi's helmet is missing a notch. And Laios is like, oh, well, now that you mention it. And those are Laios's. Okay, so muffler Chilchuck is from Laios. And I wondered if the helmet fixed was Laios too. So that means that Jojo Buff Sinchi has to be either Marcel or Chilchuck. If you are a Chilchuck and Sinchi shipper, so we shall see. So then we're down to figure out where, they just aren't as intelligent as humans. We have to let them, we have to basically, if we hurt them, they can put up a fight. So what do we do? So we need to unmask the phonies. So then the question is, how do we get down to the next set? The one, since she looks a little bit wider than the other, and one Chilchuck. Okay, there is an innocent Chilchuck that is blushy. I'm going to say that that one is Cinchi because Cinchi thinks that Chilchuck's a child. So I think that that one is Chilchuck. And then there was the more timid or hesitant, the one that sat on the box that Laios was like, well, that could be a mimic, so he wouldn't do that. I feel like that's Marcel and her version because I don't think Marcel pays attention to Chilchuck, so she wouldn't remember that or notice it. But Laios did notice it. So, all right, we got Chilchuck's, we got Laios's out of the way. The Marcels are hard to tell because I feel like they all kind of view Marcel in a similar way, right? He's like, it's kind of hard to tell the differences when they're all lined up. And then, like, what about the different hairstyle? I was like, oh, the texture's off and all that. They're saying stuff that would sound like her. And they're like, well, okay, but then they figured out the Marcel, one of them had the bad spell book. Okay. That one is, the bad spell book is Cinchi because Cinchi doesn't like magic. So the one that has the terrible spell book, Cinchi wouldn't remember how to draw the magic. So that's the one that Cinchi conjured up. So that means that the other fake has to be Laios. Because I don't think Laios views her like Squidward. I think that's Chilchuck. So then we have, I want to get down to where we have the other two Cinchis. How do we tell them apart? Yeah. And so then they showed us the gear. One of the Cinchis has, not necessarily the derpy one, but one of the Cinchis has the wrong gear. Okay. So here's the question, though. Is the Cinchi that has the wrong gear the one that Marcel thought of? Or is the Cinchi that's buff the one that Marcel thought of? I don't think Chilchuck would remember Cinchi having the wrong gear, so I think that that's Marcel. And that means that Chilchuck is the one that thinks that Cinchi's handsome. So, boom! That's what I think it is. I love it. Yes. We've come to that decision. So now they're down the last two. And I love that Laios is like, I'm going to use my power of observations to determine which one of you is real. And I love that everybody's like, Laios is terrible at observations, but he turns out to be pretty good. Laios is not bad at observations. He's just not very good at socially, interpersonally communicating with people. And there is a difference. There is a huge difference. So I love that he has them cook the meals to do the 3 different meals as pairs. I love that. I love that we got Mizaru and she left since she was like, here, have this rice. I thought that was adorable. That was so cute. And then Laios goes through asking each of them questions. This was all genius. My thing was, when we did the spots with Chilchuck first, I did not think about the boxes being the mimics at first. But I thought when Chilchuck was looking at the ingredients and being like, I don't know what to do with this, and asking Laios to help him, to me, that gave Chilchuck away, because in all of the other episodes we've seen Chilchuck cooking, he tries to be efficient, so he instantly just does it. He's like, fine, you want me to skin this thing? Fine, I will. We need to make the food. We need to get on with our lives. So the Chilchuck sitting on the thing, skinning the fish and everything, that made sense to me because, or the cockatrice that's left over, that made sense to me because that's something Chilchuck has done the entire time. Chilchuck's never had a hesitant moment of, I don't know how to use this ingredient. He's never been timid like that. So I didn't think of the mimic part of it, but I do agree that was a good sign that he's the imposter. So then we have, I just love they all question each other. So then we have, and they say that Chilchuck A, who's the angrier one, might not be the real one, but I'm like, oh no, Chilchuck is a bitter bitch. That seems like it was, A always seemed like the right one. So then we have, from there, the Marcels. I thought the Marcels were a little bit more difficult at first. So we had like, at the start, I thought at the start, that I was going to eat this, but now I'm changing my mind. No humanoid monsters. I've been making compromises, but this is taking it too far. I do think that the real Marcel, when she's like, I don't want to eat the harpy egg, I feel like that was very much in her character because last week and the week before, well, last week in episode 17, when they had the harpy eggs, and since she was like, look what I got, and they were making the omelets, if you paid attention in episode 17, Chilchuck was standing in front of Marcel being like, she doesn't want the harpy eggs. So when Marcel with the white collar says she doesn't want the harpy egg this time, it's like, oh, that makes sense because that's not how she is. And then the other one's like, fine, I've eaten fishman eggs and even dryads before. But that's a good thing too, because Falin didn't, or Marcel didn't know that she had ate fishman eggs before because they didn't tell her about the porridge. So yeah. And then Laios is like, she wouldn't have dumped out. I didn't think about the water in the Undine though, because that part didn't slip my mind, that she would think that the Undine could come from that water. That part completely escaped me. But I thought the harpy egg was a sign that it wasn't, that it was not the imposter. And then Cinchi's was so obvious, and none of them thought about it. Until the very end, they all thought buff, handsome Cinchi was totally the norm. And Laios getting along with them. Now, when he did say that he got the harpy eggs from an abandoned warehouse, that did strike me as weird. One, because we've not been to an abandoned warehouse where the harpy eggs were. We got the harpy eggs from the harpies last episode. But also, like Laios says, Cinchi wouldn't interrupt the environment of something without making adjustments or doing something to replace it. So that part, I feel like Cinchi was the easy one to determine. But, oh my God. Is it me? Because then at that point, Marcel's like, wait, is it me or is Cinchi B kind of good looking? And the best part is Chilchuk and Laios are like, oh, well, he's always been like that. Y'all. The Chilchuk that says he's always been like that is the real Chilchuk. Is the real Chilchuk that said he's always been like that. And Laios is like, Cinchi's always been cool. Laios says Cinchi's always been cool. Chilchuk says he's always been good looking. My shipper heart is filled these episodes. I tell you all. And then they're like, oh, what, Marcel? Are you being judgmental saying dwarves can't be good looking? And she's like, I don't know what to do anymore. So my favorite part about all this is as they make the food, Laios is like, I actually don't really know what I'm doing. I like Laios is like, this is really hard because they are kind of hard to tell. I'm just going to go with my gut instincts. But they end up, I love he says hunting down monsters disguised as humans might be interesting. And I love we have like Chilchuk is this weird gecko and Marcel is like an alien and Cinchi is like a devil. And he's like, I don't know. We're dealing with illusions. So what do we do? And then he thinks, okay, we're hunting down monsters. Wait a minute. He's like, these are all just illusions. We need to find the source. So he's like, I figured out the ones that I've pegged as the real ones. And now we'll get rid of the other ones. And they all start fighting, right? They all start fighting over the food. And Laios is like, a shapeshifter just changes forms. So there's no ways monsters can cook. So we just need to go ahead and figure out who is who. I do like we'll talk about the meal that they make there here in a hot second. They finally finish cooking. I wanted to go back and try to find what that meal looks like when it's all said and done. I just love Laios figuring it all out. So we have the course meal. The one looks like, I did before this discussion go and look this up. One is just like, it's all using ingredients we have used before. So I don't know if I want to cook this week because it all looks like stuff we've used before. And also, like the one is literally like the barley and mushrooms and some sauerkraut left over, but we've used all that. One is like chicken crusted over with different grains with the sauerkraut. We've already done that. And one is the ones that looked interesting. At first, when they all turned to leaves, I was like, okay, well, we can't cook anything this week because they all turned out to be fake. In the end, they made the little sweet dryads, but when you look them up, all they are is like sweet potatoes with sugar and maybe like a caramelized egg. I don't know. We might skip cooking this week and then see what episode 19 gives us. We have cooked a lot the last couple weeks. We might take a break. We might do, we did cook 15, 16, and 17. So we might, we skipped 14. We might skip 18 and see what episode 19 brings us. I think we might do that because it turned out to be an illusion anyway, right? And plus, it wasn't really cooking anything necessarily new. The recipes that I found were all things that were kind of really simple, but they weren't anything that we haven't already kind of done before. So then Laios decides that, you know what? You all fighting each other. He's like, I figured it was going to happen because the imposter is going to fight till the end. And he's like, what I actually want to do is lure out the shapeshifter myself. And then Laios is like, okay, I can't just swing my sword because this illusion might be pretty vast. So he gets on his hands and legs, hands and knees, and howl and barks like a hunting dog. Laios! Laios is a dog man. He loves kobolds. He loves dogs. He practically is a hunting dog in this episode. Where's my werewolf fan fiction? Where's my werewolf AU? Where's my Laios as a werewolf? Where is Kabru as a vampire? I need Kabru as a vampire, Laios as a werewolf fan fiction, and I need it now. Where is it? Right? Oh my gosh. And Falin could be like, Falin could be a werewolf too. I need my Falin werewolf, Kabru. I need my Laios werewolf, Kabru vampire fanfiction AU. I need it so badly. Because, yeah, Laios being the dog man, Kabru being the cat man, luring out the shapeshifter. I love it. I love how good he is calling like a dog. And he's like, we're going to turn the hunted into the hunter and make the shapeshifter our prey. I love it. My thing is, I wish Kabru could have seen this, because Laios presents himself as kind of this, like, I'm sure Kabru's version of him, it's crazy. On the one hand, you have half the cast believing that Laios is this little angel baby, that he's just so simple and innocent. And then Kabru thinks he could be absolutely ominous. And the correct answer is both. Because Laios is a precious angel baby, but then he does stuff like this where you're like, he's actually really smart and could be very dangerous because he gets so focused with what his mission is. I'm like, I love it. I love it. And it makes the illusions disappear into the leaves. And then the shapeshifter. The shapeshifter's so badass. I love it. Looks like a Ninetales mixed with a bear, mixed with a wolf. I love it. It's so freaking cool design. And Laios like growling like a dog. Like, we're talking about Omegaverse, y'all. Where's my werewolf AU? And then Laios is gonna leap after the shapeshifter like he's trying to both intimidate and get the better of him. And then Marcel's like, yeah, no. That part was amazing, where she just chopped off its head. Like, we ain't got time for this. I loved that so much. She's like, let's quit messing around. I love when it pans back over to Senshi and him and Chilchuck are like, yes, ma'am. Freaking love Marcel. And she's just like, enough of this. Like, let's go. And Chilchuck's like, I've got a lot of things to say, but why didn't you draw your sword? Why were you... And then Laios is like, I got a little bit carried away playing the part. I got too into my dog cosplay, and I went... Laios would be a furry. I would believe that. I think that would be fine. And then Senshi, of course, is like, none of the dishes turned out. They were all an illusion as well. So instead, we're just going to make them again. We're going to make the sweet dryads. And then Laios points out how he distinguished each of them from the other, which is super sweet. I love that Marcel in that moment's like, wait a minute. She's like, we did eat fish eggs. Her carelessness felt more genuine to me. I love it. And then meanwhile, while they're cooking, like, Laios is playing with the dead shapeshifter's paw. This series gets so morbid sometimes, and the humor gets so dark, but they just play it off without drawing attention to it. It's so subtle that he's just sitting there playing with a mangled paw, and you're like, what the fudge, Laios? She's like, we've never had fishman eggs before. And they're all like, yeah, about that. She's like, were they in the porridge that we had that day? So yeah, then they have some of the... It looks like they had more than just the dryad fruit. I guess he did make the whole dish. He made all of them again. That's cute. And then they notice that the provisions are gone, that Asebi took some of the rice and left. Now, Asebi looks like a cat person. They have claws. And I'm assuming that those might actually be ears. Interesting. They don't have whiskers or a cat nose, though. So I'm curious. Now, Asebi said, let's talk things out peacefully. So, We shall see. Okay, but yeah, Marcel can't reach for her staff, so Oh y'all! Oh y'all! Oh! Okay. Okay. I'm really excited that Asebi's back because ever since Asebi went missing, I was like, well, surely they're not gonna be gone the entire rest of the season, right? No, right back. But Laios has cemented himself as my favorite character. I love Laios. Marcel's right there up there with him. I would say my top 5 at this point. Laios is my number 1. I heart him so much. I love Laios to pieces. I would say Marcel's my number 2 gal. I would say, I would say Falin and Kabru are tied. I like both of them equally, which is funny because you have 2 different ships. With that, and then my 5th spot is interesting. All the other characters kind of are on an even playing field for me. I really like Chilchuk and Sinchi, and I also like Shuro, but I like Tade as well. I definitely think my top 4 are Kabru and Falin and Marcel and Laios. But Laios is my number 1. I love him to pieces. He can do no wrong to me. He literally can do no wrong. So yeah, I don't think we're going to cook this week. We're going to let it go. And then we're going to see, since all of this was an illusion anyway, even though Sinchi made up for it at the end, there's not a recipe that's anything we haven't already done so far. It's just kind of variations. So we'll just let it go. We'll see what we get next week, though. I'm excited and curious to see what episode 19 will give us in terms of a recipe. So anyway, I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait to watch episode 19 for the comments. I don't know. I'm going to try to wait, but it's going to be very hard, y'all. It's going to be hard. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more of Delicious in Dungeon. Bye!